was invited to test out the new set for a couple of days, and despite some small, minor, teeny tiny technical difficulties on my side, I can assure you there is plenty to talk about. Okay, I know, this is not the usual fast-paced rapid special, but we need to talk about the next set. So if you need the occasional Subway Surfer or DIY video to keep your attention, just let me know. So without further ado, without further tramblings and ramblings, clear the ring for KO Coliseum! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the arena.
Sometimes music hurts.
Give it about that. Trump is here. Fancy.
Scissors ready.
Hey yo, what the fuck? First of all, how dare you?
I won't hesitate.
Stand behind you! Boom. Man, I'm dead. Oh wow, man.
Every set comes with its very own set mechanic that elevates or admittedly sometimes downgrades how TFT is being played. This time around, Riot took a page out of an all too familiar Produce empowered concept, which definitely comes with a power up. But more on that later. We have to talk about something else first. In set 15, there are quite a few changes to how the game is being played. Some of these changes are quite simple to understand, and some others a bit more...
Huh?
Let's break them down together. First up, there's a change in the mana system. Mana gain per second is now officially a stat, and every item built out of a tier increases that stat, instead of giving bonus starting mana. That means all the mana items have a small revamp for you to discover on release. The bigger revamp would be Blue Buff, where it no longer grants the mana reset, but a huge amount of mana gain per second instead, making it overall more viable on a bigger variety of champions. But not to worry, Shojin still has a special mana gain per attack passive, so your attack and magic casters can cast the casting a lot more.
Zap, zap. Kisses!
What the fuck?
Okay, now speaking of which, I need you to grab onto your seats, okay? Because next up are classes. Set 15 is introducing a class system that changes how every character gains their mana, gets targeted, and gains special base stats. Some more than others. Now I know there's a lot to unpack here, and quite frankly I don't have the best overview on them. However, I shall gloriously try. Alright, so there are 6 classes in total, which were provided to me by the kind Nemaides. I hope I didn't butcher that.
Nemaides.
Ah. Make sure to show him some love, especially if you're able to speak French. Shout out to him, because I didn't screen any of that. But the classes are tanks, assassins, fighters, marksmen, casters, and specialists. Each come with either the attack, magic, or hybrid version. Now spinning back to the magical blue juice. Tanks gain mana when they are attacking and while they're being attacked as usual. Attack fighters, on the other hand, only gain mana when they are attacking, but they also get 10% omni. Assassins, marksmen, and casters only gain mana when attacking, as well as casters having a little mana gain on top. And lastly, we have the special snowflakes that didn't get the memo. Those changes make each character even more niche, but they will take some time getting used to for sure. Okay, so far so confused? Let me double down. Each class has a different targeting mechanic as well. Yeah, you heard that right. Tanks are the first in the line of defense, and assassins are cowards. Meaning, if presented by the choice between A, punching lady with shield, or B, punching handsome man with chair, the enemy will default to act out equality on lady with shield. Now, if we get rid of the shield and the armor, and puff of the hair a little, suddenly handsome chairman seems awfully punchable. That was a lot, I know, and the changes will be maybe confusing at first. The idea is to make targeting a lot more clearer. If that's gonna be the case, only time will tell. Alrighty. With all that out of the way, let's get into the core of set 15. The power obtained by the consumption of magical crop. The unleashing of great potential with the gobbling of the garden gold. The unshacklement of might through the munching of the edible berry. The releasing of... yeah, it's a devil fruit. Yeah. If you're familiar with a certain media, it should come as no surprise that feeding your gems these radioactive pineapples gives them a unique power-up, making them all much stronger than the other fielded units. Much like the anomaly in Arcane, this power-up comes in many different shapes and sizes. From stacking mechanics to utility to tankiness, the possibilities seem endless, and there are already way more than I could encompass here. Over the course of the game, you will get 2 of these power berries, and once fed to your most beloved protagonist, you will be presented with 3 choices. Depending on what you need, whether it be more damage or more tankiness, you will have to choose wisely which character to feed to thicken the plot armor. Some of the choices were already much more preferable than others, but overall the Might Munchers introduce a lot of variance and chaos that has to be tested and fine-tuned on PvE, which will get a certain someone to stream more regularly again. Wink wink. Phew. Alright, let's do a super duper quick origin and trade rundown. There are some reprints of course, so let's start with those. First up, the strategic strategists. There's Bastions, which give armor and MR, Duelists, who ramp up their attack speed, Executioners, who get crit like last set, Juggernaut, who gain durability, Prodigy, who have mana regen, Protector, that do more shields per shields, Sniper, Sorcerer, do magic boom, Soul Fighters gain 80 and AP and true damage, Star Guardians, who work a bit like Divinicore or Guild. Then there's Battle Academia, which works a little bit like Amp. There's Crystal Gambit, which is the Lost Trick trade, kind of like Heartsteel. Edgelord, who gain Omnivamp and 80. Heavyweight, who are big, beefy, reliable boys. The Crew, you have to reroll. Reroll is a must. Then there's Supreme Cells, who gain a bunch of damage jump. Then there's the Mighty Mac, who's the summon trait this set. Then there's Mentor, which kind of works like Emissary from set 13. And the more uncommon ones now are Luchador, 4 wrestlers who just jump in when they hit a certain health threshold. Then there's Wraith, who summon a Rift that booms out some damage based on the damage that's already been done. And we have Monster Trainer, who I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. Bow, 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 bow. Okay. Yeah. Lulu's Monster Trainer trait is arguably the best trait in the entire set. You get to choose between Kog'Maw, Rammus, and Smolder to train and fight for you, and you level them up after each combat. So far I only tried Rammus, but you can bet your nose I will limit test the other 2 as well. Rammus himself, he was... Thank you. Rambling about units, let's go over all the Coliseum contenders that set 15 has to offer. For 1 cost, we have Aatrox, Ezreal, Garen, Gnar, Kalista, Kayle, Kennen, Lucian, Malphite, Naafiri, Rell, Sivir, Syndra, and Zac, with my favorite ones being Ezreal and Malphite. The 2 costs are joined by Mundo, Gangplank, Janna, Jhin, Kai'Sa, Katrina, Kobuko, Lux, Rakan, Shen, Vi, Xayah, and Xin Zhao. My standouts here being Mundo and Janna, with Kai'Sa being the stacking champion of this set. The 3 cost champions are composed of Ahri, Caitlyn, Darius, Jace, Kog'Maw, Lulu, Malzahar, Neeko, Rammus, Senna, Smolder, Swain, Udyr, Viego, Yasuo, and Ziggs, with here obviously the favorite ones being Lulu and her pets, and Udyr. As for 4 costs, we have Akali, Ashe, Jarvan, Jinx, Karma, Xante, Leona, Poppy, Ryze, Samira, Sett, Volibear, and Yuumi, with all of them being like very well rounded so far. My top tiers being Ryze, Xante, Samira, Yuumi, and Jinx. And now, as for the 5 costs, we have Lee Sin with 3 stances who visually look amazing, if you can find him in all the mayhem that Varus is doing over here. Yeah, I don't know, he seems very angry. Anyways, there's Seraphine, who matches the spell from Ahri in set 4, and with better itemization can do loads of damages, followed by Zyra, who plants a garden, Yone, who cosplays a baseball bat while your team cosplays the baseball in need of a home run, Twisted Fate, who... I think he does cards. Gwen, who snip snap boom. And my absolute uncontested favorite Mr. Yidus Magnificent Deletus, Muchacho Luchador, El Tigre Brom. I don't know how annoying it will be in the future to be positioning against him, but for now throwing people around even further when executing them is hilariously fun to watch and makes my heart warm and fuzzy. Anywho, that was my most incomplete set 15 preview. I'll probably forgot a bunch of things like how support items have been removed from the game, reworked prismatic traits that works like quests instead of the usual emblem hunt, no replacement for hyper roll, and maybe many more things. I do hope you enjoyed this little scrambled together overview. And don't worry if most of it made less sense than the thing before. I myself am clueless as well, and will do many testing and running down on stream next week. Hope to see the old crew there for a great get-together cooking with yours truly. Until then, wrap it out. Cheers.